In my hands I have the latest Titleist 718 TMB3 iron. Now this TMB and utility irons like it have really grown in popularity in recent years. We're seeing more and more pros gravitate towards a utility iron as opposed to a hybrid, and we're also seeing amateur golfers benefit from having these kind of clubs available to them. They're a wee bit thicker, a wee bit chunkier and more forgiving than traditional long irons, so you're seeing a lot of amateurs decide to put these in the bag to replace their 3, 4 and 5 irons. In this video I'm going to compare this modern piece of technology with this old 1 iron. It's a Titleist DCI oversized 1 iron. My brother found it at a pro shop a few weeks ago, so I thought it'd be pretty cool to compare these 2 irons, see how far technology's come along when it comes to long irons in the last 20 years or so. In this video I'll run through some numbers I got with my SkyTrak earlier on today, and I'm also going to take them out in the golf course just to see how much easier the TMB is to hit than this 1 iron. First off though, if you're new to our YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button below, give us a thumbs up if you enjoy this video, and if you have any questions just leave them in the comments and I'll answer them for you. So let's compare the design of these 2 irons. Now, it might sound silly to say, but back in the day the DCI was considered a bit of a game improvement iron. For me it just looks like a hunk of steel attached to a shaft, but it was considered a game improvement club because of the perimeter weighting you see here and also the oversized design. However, down behind the ball by today's standards, it looks a bit like a butter knife. It looks so thin, it doesn't look very inviting to hit, and it doesn't look forgiving. And certainly if you're not catching this thing out in the middle, it will let you know all about it. It punishes you. The speed and the distance drops drastically. Also in terms of forgiveness and accuracy, it could go anywhere if you're not quite catching it right, and also it's not going to fly up in the air at all. It's going to be very low. It's very difficult to get this thing flying high if you're not catching it really pure. Compare that with the TMB, and what we have is a very modern hollow body construction. So we've got a steel body, and in that steel body we have about 94 grams of tungsten split between the heel and the toe section. Now this means that the CG is going to be very low, so you get more forgiveness, and this thing is so much easier to get up in the air. The ball just launches into the sky because so much weight is located low and deep in the club head. We also have an unsupported high strength steel face. Now that steel face means that this unsupported face means this club is allowed to act almost like a metal would. The face is allowed to flex to give you more ball speed and also retain the ball speed across the face. So if you're not quite catching out the middle, you're going to retain speed and retain distance, but also retain accuracy because of that tungsten, higher launch, more forgiveness. So when it comes to the design of these 2 irons, it really is night and day. As I say, this is pretty much a hunk of steel at the end of a shaft, and then you look at this hollow body, modern design, multi-material, everything about it is designed to make longer irons easier to hit, make them more forgiving, faster and easier for you to play with out on the golf course. Now before I run through the numbers, it's worth noting that the old school 1 iron has 17 degrees of loft and the TMB 3 iron has 20 degrees of loft. I've got the original Titleist tri-spec stiff shaft in this 1 iron, so it's pretty much as you would have bought it back in the day, straight off the shelf. There wasn't really custom fitting available, so this is as it would have been. Whereas with the TMB, it's been custom fitted for me, so it's got the right shaft to give me the maximum in terms of performance. So the numbers with the 1 iron. You see my ball speed averaging 140 miles an hour, launching at 8.4 degrees and spinning just under 3,300 RPM. What that then equates to is 209 average carry and totaling out at 230 yards on average. So 209, that's probably how far I would expect to carry my 4 iron these days. The reason why it's carrying so short is because the launch is so low. This thing is so difficult to get up in the air. You'll see the peak height is averaging at 16 yards. This thing is an absolute bullet. I'm sure it'll be great for windy days down at the coast, really low running, penetrating ball flight. It would look fantastic, but I'm not getting a lot of help with this club head. It's not launching the ball up into the sky, it's not forgiving, and that means my carry distance is quite short and my total distance is at 230 yards. Now on to the TMB, and you'll see the ball speed jump up to 141 miles an hour and the launch angle climb significantly. We're now at 11.5 degrees. Likewise, the spin is up, we're now at 3,900 RPM on average. What that then equates to is 6 yards of added carry. I'm at 215 yards and I'm totaling out 232. So getting a few extra yards in total, but getting more carry distance with this golf club that's got 3 degrees weaker loft. Also, it's worth noting that the peak height is now at 26 yards as opposed to 16 yards. So with this 3 iron, I'm getting more distance than I did the 1 iron, but I'm also getting the ball into there so much easier. It's flying a lot higher, and more so than the distance and the height, it's the level of forgiveness. On off-centre strikes, this golf club is retaining its speed, it's retaining its launch, it's very forgiving. Whereas with the 1 iron, if I'm not catching that out the middle, it's really punishing. It's not going to give me the distance I'm looking for, and it's not going to go anywhere near close to 200 yards. So I think those numbers show just how far long iron designs come in the last 20 years. These TMBs, these utility irons of today, are so much easier to hit than the old school 1 irons from the mid and late 90s. So although it was a game improvement iron back in the DCI, it doesn't really hold a candle to the TMB when it comes to forgiveness and performance. So hopefully this video has given you a good idea of how far technology and long iron designs have come in the last 20 years or so, and giving you a little bit more insight into how the TMB works and why putting a utility iron into your bag is probably a good idea. It's going to help you out at the long end of the set to get a bit more forgiveness and just make those irons easier to hit. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button below. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and thank you very much for watching.